Good morning, my dear students, and your English teacher, Mrs. Noreen Dunwell, welcomes you to the online classes. Now, as you people know, that the entire world is suffering from this pandemic, coronavirus, the COVID-19, and because of that reason, we people are restricted to these virtual classes. But still, we pray that very soon we may retain and resume our classes in the school. I hope you all are keeping well and safe. Before I actually start the classes, the teaching process, let me give you some information. But there is a humble request by me that from today onwards, all the subject videos will be uploaded for you people to study, and you may please go through each and every video thoroughly and stay updated, because these portions which we people are going to teach now will not be repeated once the physical attendance starts in the school. Now here you remember one more thing, that very soon the online exam also will be conducted, for which it is very necessary that you must be very thorough through the lessons. Now for your English core, which is your subject that I am going to teach, you are having two books. One is your main reader, which is named as Hornbill, and a supplementary reader, which is Snapshots. These both are NCERT published books and is easily available in the market, which I would like you people to purchase. And beside this, you have to prepare 3 copies. All the 3 200 pages, A4 size copy. Before the teaching begins, let me tell you very clearly that you have to prepare your own answers. This process is being adopted by me so that your writing skill and your creativity, your way of answering a question may improve with time. It is not necessary that always the questions will be asked directly from the question bank which is given over there at the end of the lesson. It can be from anywhere between the lesson, and you must be capable enough to write down the answers for those questions. So because of that reason, this year onwards, for the coming 2 years, 11th and 12th, you have to prepare your own notes for the subject. And because of that, the 3 copies which I said, out of that, 1 you will reserve and keep for Hornbill, 1 for Snapshots, and the 3rd one for grammar and the writing skill. When we people teach you online, obviously, it is not that we people are able to interact so nicely, so thoroughly as we do in a classroom. But as it is the need of the hour, it is the mutual cooperation and the mutual act of each of us, you as a student and me as a teacher, that we can make this entire class a success. So I expect that each student of mine of class 11th will be going thoroughly with each and every video of every subject, and will make this entire session, though it may be online till what date we don't know, but a success. Some of the chapters, as been said by CBSE, is been deleted from your syllabus. About that, I'll give you details some other time. But right now, without taking much time of yours, the only thing that I would like to tell you is that after the lesson completes, in the very last video of the lesson, I will discuss the questions which are there in the book. I'll tell you the points that must be there in the answers of the concerned question, and then you have to construct the answers for those questions. Beside that, you will receive the PDF of the extra questions that I'll be giving for a concerned lesson. These all things, as the time passes, you will come into practice. Now let's begin the very first chapter of yours from the book Hornbill. A very beautiful chapter in which a beautiful relation has been mentioned. Very beautifully, emotion which is very popular, which is very widespread around the world, is being portrayed over here. It's love, a never ending love. And when we talk about this word love is not having any boundaries. It can be between two humans, and in the humans itself, it can be between mother, son, mother, daughter, father, son, father, daughter, husband, wife, and it can be between any two creations of Lord God. Here in this chapter, which we are going to start with, that is chapter 1, titled as The Portrait of a Lady, written by Khushwant Singh. This particular chapter is an autobiography of Khushwant Singh about his childhood experience with his very, very beautiful grandmother. And she is the lady being mentioned over here. So the title, The Portrait of a Lady. I hope you all know the meaning of this word portrait. You might have seen many of the artists preparing posters, preparing portraits of other people, of their subjects. Here, the portrait is being created, but not through a canvas or a pencil or colors, but it is through words. A very beautiful chapter where it tells us how love, as I said, is having no boundaries. In this, basically the main protagonist or the main character is definitely the beautiful old lady, the grand lady, that's the grandmother of Khushwant Singh. But here in this chapter, we are having one more thing to remember, and they are the birds, the village dogs. So let's begin the chapter, and as the time passes, you people will come across the chapter and the beauty of the chapter. So I'll be reading out the chapter paragraph wise, and then I'll do the explanation of the chapter. Chapter 1, The Portrait of a Lady by Khushwant Singh. You can see some phrases has been given over here, some expressions are there. This you just go through once, and you will see that these expressions are used in various places in the entire chapter, describing the context. My grandmother, like everybody's grandmother, was an old woman. She had been old and wrinkled for the 20 years that I had known her. People said that she had once been young and pretty and had even had a husband. But that was hard to believe. My grandfather's portrait hung above the mantelpiece in the drawing room. He wore a big turban and loose-fitting clothes. His long white beard covered the best part of his chest, and he looked at least 100 years old. He did not look the sort of person who would have a wife or children. He looked as if he could only have lots and lots of grandchildren. As for my grandmother being young and pretty, the thought was almost revolting. She often told us of the games she used to play as a child. That seemed quite absurd and undignified on her part. And we treated it like the fables of the prophets she used to tell us. Now the very first paragraph. Grandmother. I think grandparents are a very touchy subject for each and every one of us, because they are the one who fulfill all the wishes those who are our shield and our protector towards our parents. This is what the grandparents actually stand for. Their stories, their pampering, their love, endless. And in this, Khushwant Singh is going to talk about the grandmother. He started with that his grandmother was like every other grandmother. Like you people also, when you started understanding the things around you, when you started growing up, you found that your grandmother seems to be an old woman. And so do he. He says that his grandmother was an old woman. And from 20 years that he had known her, he had seen her with wrinkled face, very old. But people used to tell him that once upon a time she was very beautiful, very pretty, and even had a husband. Now, for this Khushwant Singh, it was very hard to believe. Very simple thing. Like if your grandmother tells you that, my dear child, in my childhood, I used to play all these things. Sometimes the grandchildren find it very hard to believe. You know what they say? You used to play also? Because from the time they had seen them, they seemed to be old, and it's very difficult for them to believe that they could be young ones and they were playing all these kind of games in their childhood. So it's little difficult. The same was condition of Khushwant Singh. Because he had always seen, from the time he has seen his grandmother as old and wrinkled, it was hard for him to believe that she could be pretty, young, beautiful, and even had a husband. As for his grandfather, he says that in the drawing room, means in the sitting room, above the mantelpiece, you all know what a mantelpiece is. You might have seen above the fireplace where the fire burns during the cold weather, there will be a kind of a shelf that is called as a mantelpiece. Above the mantelpiece, a very big picture, portrait of his grandfather is there. In that picture, how his grandfather looks, he's wearing a big turban, pagdi, and then he is wearing loose fitting clothes. You know how the old people in Punjab and all, they used to put on the dress. So he used to put on a big turban and loose fitting clothes, and he had long white beard which covered the maximum area of his chest, and he looked somewhat like 100 years old. And Khushwant Singh, he says that when I look at the portrait of my grandfather, it looks like as if though this man who is my grandfather, he can never have wife and children, because he looks so old that I believe that he cannot have a wife and child, but he can definitely have numerous number of grandchildren. And for his grandmother, being young and pretty, that thought itself was like revolting for him. Revolting means something which is not acceptable. He cannot accept it. And she always used to tell, like how I said, that about the games she used to play in the childhood. What Khushwant Singh used to think, he used to think that it seems to be very absurd and very undignified. Means it don't suit the grandmother to tell such kind of stories, because it's very difficult for Khushwant Singh to believe that grandmother could ever play. She's so old. He could not accept that she was once pretty, once beautiful, then leave behind playing. So he used to think that this was all very disgraceful, very ridiculous, that she is telling all kind of stories, fables. Fables means short stories. Some stories. So he used to think that some stories she is creating, like how she tells him bedtime stories about the prophets. Prophets means the people who are the messengers of God, the saints and all. So he used to think that exactly like how she used to tell him bedtime stories or stories about the prophets, this is also a story. It can never ever happen. Let's continue. She had always been short and fat and slightly bent, Her face was a crisscross of wrinkles running from everywhere to everywhere. No, we were certain that she had always been as we had known her. Old, so terribly old that she could not have grown older and had stayed at the same age for 20 years. She could never have been pretty, but she was always beautiful. She hobbled about the house in spotless white, with one hand resting on her waist to balance her stoop and the other telling the beads of her rosary. Her silver locks were scattered untidily over her pale, puckered face, and her lips constantly moved in inaudible prayer. Yes, she was beautiful. She was like the winter landscape in the mountains, an expanse of pure white serenity, breathing peace and contentment. In this very second paragraph, we can see the physical appearance of the grandmother is being mentioned about. Now, here we can see that it has been mentioned that from the time he had been with his grandmother and the time he had started seeing and understanding, yeah, she's my grandmother, he had seen that she was short, she was fat, and she was slightly bent, means old lady, so a slight bent is there. And her face, he says, is a crisscross of wrinkles, means all over the wrinkles are running over the body from the top to the bottom, means from head to toe. And he says that he is very certain, means he is very firm that she had been old. He cannot believe that she could once be young, because 20 years he had been seeing her in the same way. But one thing he says, that in this 20 years he feels that in the first year how she used to look old, in the 20th year also she looks the same way. It seems that she had grown any older. Then he says that maybe he can't believe that she was pretty, but he believes that she was beautiful. Now you may think that pretty and beautiful both means the same thing. How could it be? But here he means different. Pretty means outer beauty, and beautiful means the inner beauty, the glow which the inner beauty gives, the grace. That is what he's talking about. Further, it has been said that she hobbled about the house, means she moves about, walks about. Here the word hobbling is used because it shows that she may be having a kind of a walking difficulty. So she limps and walks. And further it has been said, in spotless white. In spotless white here means a dress which is having no spots, no marks, totally white, pure white. And her one hand rests on her waist because she is little stoop, bent, so she has to give support to her back. So she keeps one hand over the waist and the other hand is not empty, that is also busy doing what, telling the beads of her rosary. Telling here means rotating. Beads means you all know that the old people, they say the prayers, and while saying the prayers they use a kind of a rosary, they use a kind of a mala, and they keep on moving the beads of that and they say the prayers. So one hand on her back and one hand is busy telling the beads of the rosary. Her silver locks means her hairs have turned grey, white. So they have been compared to silver. Silver means greyishness, whitishness. So her silver locks means her hairs scattered untidily over her pale, puckered face. She had not combed her hair, and she generally just ties her hair at the back, and her hairs which have turned grey or white untidily, means not been combed properly, they are scattered, they are spread over her pale, dull and puckered face. Here puckered means wrinkled, and her lips constantly moved in inaudible prayer. Her lips are continuously moving, and what she is reciting, she is saying some kind of a prayer, but which is not audible, which he cannot hear. It is being said within herself. So he again says, yes, she was beautiful. Yes, the grandmother was beautiful. And see the beauty of hers been compared to what? She was like the winter landscape in the mountains, an expanse of pure white serenity, breathing peace and contentment. Now, when the hot weather is there, summer season, if you get a chance to go to a hilly area where the mountain tip is covered with ice caps, you just think about the beauty. The clouds all over. What a beautiful scene. And it soothes. It soothes. Means it gives peace to your heart, to your soul, to your spirit. And here he says that she's just like that. A winter landscape and an expanse of pure white serenity. Serenity means calmness, peace. And this calmness, he says, this calm and clearness of hers, it seems like she is an example of a person who is very peaceful and very satisfied. Contentment. Is very content with life. He is very satisfied with love. So this is what he said. His grandmother is a beauty to watch because she is a resemblance of a mountain, of a winter landscape which gives peace to one person, because there is grace, there is calmness, there is peace, and most important, there is contentment on her face. My dear students, I'll take a break here and let me end today's video, and I hope you all will do justice by watching the video and will study thoroughly during these days. Till the next video, stay safe, stay